Hello and welcome to lesson 3-2. Today we're going to be looking at solving multi-step equations. Up until today, we've solved single-step and two-step equations, but now we're going to be looking at multi-step equations. So what this really means is that we're going to solve an equation that requires more than two steps. So let's take a look at example 1 and see how this is going to work. So example 1, part A, says 3a plus 6 plus a equals 90. Now when I look at this, I personally like to combine any like terms that I can before I start simplifying. So here I have 3a and a. So what I can do is I can combine them and say that 4a plus 6 is equal to 90. And now I have a standard two-step equation where I'm going to subtract 6 from both sides. And this gives me 4a equals 84. Then you can go ahead and come in here and divide both sides by 4. And my 4's are going to cancel. And this is going to leave me with a equals 84 divided by 4 will give me 21. Likewise, for part B, I have 3x minus 4x, so this will give me a negative x plus 6 equals a negative 2. So here I want to go ahead and actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to write this up top here. So I have negative x plus 6 equals a negative 2. And in order to get x by itself, I'm going to have to subtract 6 from both sides. So here I have negative x, please do not forget to bring that negative with it, equals negative 2 plus a negative 6 is going to give me a negative 8. Now this might look like it's done, but we have one little issue going on here, and that's that x is not by itself because I still have this negative. So what you can do to get rid of that is we can divide both sides by a negative 1. And when I do that, we end up with a positive x equals, I have negative 8 divided by negative 1, and that will give me a positive 8. So for part B, we have x equals a positive 8. All right, for part C, we have 7 equals 4m minus 2m plus 1. I can combine this, and we have 7 equals 4m minus 2m will give me 2m plus 1. So now if I get the m term by itself, I can subtract 1 from both sides, and this is going to give me 6 is equal to 2m. So if I go in and I divide both sides by 2, because I want to get m by itself, this tells me that m is going to equal 3. And finally, I have negative 3z plus 8 plus a negative 2z. So I am going to combine my z terms, and this will give me a negative 5z plus 8 equals a negative 12. Well, I'm going to get rid of my 8 because I want to keep my z term by itself. So if I subtract 8 from both sides, I now have a negative 5z equals a negative 20. I want to get z by itself, and that's negative 5 times z. So I can divide both sides by a negative 5, which is going to leave me with z equals negative 20 divided by negative 5 will give me a positive 4. Next, for example 2, it says a gardener is planting a rectangular garden area in a community garden. His garden will be next to an existing 12-foot fence. Sounds like we need to draw a picture. So we have a 12-foot fence. The gardener has a total of 44 feet of fencing to build the other 3 sides of his garden. How long will the garden be if the width is 12 feet. So if this is my fence that's already there, we're going to have to go and add the other 3 sides to this rectangular garden. Well, I don't know what my 2 side lengths are here. I know that this must be 12 feet because it's a rectangle. So if you look at the information that we're given, we know that this side length plus this side length plus this side length must equal the 44 feet of fencing that we have. So I can write an equation that says x plus 12 plus x is equal to 44 feet. So if we simplify, x plus x is 2x plus 12 equals 44 feet. If I subtract the 12 from both sides, I'm left with 2x equals 32 feet. And then I can go ahead and divide both sides by 2 because I have 2 times x. So to undo multiplication, I'm going to divide. My 2's are going to cancel, and we will be left with x is equal to 16 feet. So what that tells me is that each of these side lengths here, right here, and right here, these are each equal to 16 feet. So if I take 16 plus 12 plus 16, I should end up with my 44 feet. Now example 3, part A and part B look kind of similar, but I want to point out to you that part B is slightly different in the fact that both of them have a product, okay? You can see that here. They have a number outside that needs to be distributed, okay? They're both set equal to a number, but part B has this plus 9 piece. So we are going to treat them just a little bit different. Now, if I were you guys and I was approaching this problem, I see that I have 2 times the quantity of x minus 3 equals 8. So I want to get x by itself, but x right now is really being locked inside this set of parentheses with x minus 3. So I need to get rid of anything that is being attached to it. So I really have 2 times the quantity of x minus 3. So to undo that multiplication, I'm going to divide both sides by 2, which means I can cancel that 2 out. I have to divide both sides by 2. And what this is going to give me is x minus 3 equals 4. Now that I've done that, I can go ahead and solve this like a standard single step problem. So I will add 3 to both sides, and I end up with x equals 7. And this is my final answer. You can always plug that back in. So I would have 2 times 7 minus 3 equals 8. Well, 7 minus 3 is going to give me 4, and 2 times 4 does equal 8. So that tells me that this is correct. Now part B is a little bit different, as I mentioned earlier, because we have this plus 9. Okay, I have to kind of like think about this maybe as doing your order of operations in reverse order. So now instead of doing the multiplication division stuff first, I actually want to get rid of the addition and subtraction first. So in this case, I'm going to get rid of that positive 9 by subtracting 9 from both sides. So when I do that, I have 15 minus 9, which is going to give me 6, equals a negative 3 times a quantity of x minus 1. Now, if you notice, we are back at the same point that part A was. So I see that I have a negative 3 times a quantity of x minus 1. Well, I want to get rid of that negative 3, and because it's being multiplied by that parenthesis, that means I need to divide both sides by negative 3 in order to get that quantity of x minus 1 by itself. These are going to cancel, and I'm going to write this over here. So 6 divided by negative 3 will be a negative 2, and that's going to give me x equals 1. Now I need to get x by itself, and I'm going to do that by adding 1 to both sides. And I see that I have a -1 equals x, and I am all set now. So to kind of reiterate the steps for solving multi-step equations, you need to always look and try to clear any fractions or decimals first, then use distributive properties to remove parentheses if you need to, combine like terms, then you're going to undo addition and subtraction first, and then follow through with any multiplication or division that can be done. So at this point in time, we are going to wrap up the 3.2 video. Please let me know if you have any questions, and have a great day.